My diet is mostly composed of whole grain cereals, legumes, beans, lentils. Lots of cooked, baked, or steamed vegetables. Lots of spices like curcumin or cumin that help aid digestion. Some superfoods. Because grades in climbing are subjective, I am a fan of making big gaps between climbing grades. I shriek when I am climbing at my absolute limit, but never shriek in the warm-up or when trying the moves. No matter how terrible it might sound, it helps me. I don't really think about why I climb, I just simply love it. I remember when I started climbing more seriously. That was when I was 6 years old. The harder routes you climb, the more interesting the climbing gets, and the more crazy moves you are forced to figure out. Even though Czech food is traditionally a bit heavy, especially for a climber, I can't resist some dishes. Svikova, for example, is beef in a creamy sauce with celery and dumplings. It's probably fortunate that I don't know how to cook it myself. Every December I take 2 or 3 weeks off. After an entire season of training and climbing, my body needs the break. Climbing in a beautiful location, the goal is not to power my way up, but to become for that moment a part of the landscape, part of the rock. What really motivates me to climb harder and harder is not necessarily that I want to push my limits or show who's best, but climbing harder and harder routes makes it more fun. I do not climb really dangerous stuff. My mother and father met through climbing, and it was totally natural that I would become a climber too. I finished my degree, so I'm definitely hoping I have some more time to climb. I started climbing thanks to my parents, who have been going with me on the rocks since I was a baby. I have always wanted to compete in the Olympic Games. Bouldering on real rock, which I'm more used to climbing on, is a lot more static and requires mostly finger power, whereas competition-style boulder problems are about coordination. If I'm climbing really slow, I kind of feel like, this is weird, like a fish without water. For the Olympics, I'm mostly training in the gym, so I'm running laps on the standard speed wall. Normally, it's more efficient to climb fast. The Dawn Wall is so obviously the hardest big wall climb in the world, so that was the challenge. Czech people are quite hard to get to know, in my opinion. I was born into a climbing family. Climbing is great, and I don't think I'll ever tire of it, because there are so many different disciplines. For meat, I eat mostly high-quality fish and chicken. I think in general the American scene is much more focused on bouldering, where in Europe they're more focused on sport climbing. I felt the strongest impulse to climb when I entered my first competitions. I am a full-time athlete. I came to Flat Anger with a plan in my mind to bolt a really hard thing that would be beautiful and keep me motivated to try it for a long time in some underdeveloped area. Climbing in the Olympics would be my dream, but I'm not so optimistic that it will make it in 2020. The nose is a beautiful route. The best thing is that, in one day, you get to climb so much. You climb and climb and climb the whole day. I thought I knew how to jug, but when you only jug 30 meters to the top of a sport climb, you don't need good technique. But jugging 400 meters, that's a big deal. I didn't want to hike to the top of El Capitan and rappel down the route and start fixing lines. For me, it was really important to try to climb it from the ground up at first. When I was young, I loved the feeling of escaping to the rocks on a Friday afternoon with my parents. I think it's possible to climb the Dawn Wall in a single day. No matter what, it would be really, really hard. What I like about climbing that it's so broad. For certain periods I can focus on sport climbing and then I can shift my focus more on the bouldering, or I can shift my focus on climbing in the mountains. I think speed climbing is kind of an artificial discipline. Climbers compete on the same holds and train on the same holds, which doesn't have much in common with the climbing philosophy in my opinion. I think it wouldn't be wise to lose the best years of my sports career at university. I've never had problems about passionate motivation to just keep climbing and keep training and pushing. It's really difficult to climb effortlessly. There are way more powerful climbers compared to me, but I think I can really take advantage of all my power due to my technique. I think climbing deserves to be an Olympic sport, as it is one of the few natural movements, like swimming or running, things that people have been doing for 1,000 years.